Welcome back. So last time we covered the basics of covered calls. Today, we're going to move past that and talk about something way more important: how to actually run them safely. We're going to dig into the judgment, the strategy, and the risk control that really separates the pros from the amateurs. All right, let's get into it. Here's what we've got on tap. First, we'll look at the good and the bad, the promise and the peril. Then we'll break down what actually goes into the price you get paid. After that, we'll decode a key concept called moneyness, build out a defensive playbook for safer trading, and finally, figure out what to do when a trade looks like it's going south. So let's start right there, with the two sides of this coin. You've got this incredible promise of income, but it comes with some very real risks you need to understand. And it's no surprise that everyday investors are getting really excited about this stuff. I mean, as Jonathan Lord over at Fidelity points out, there's been a huge surge in interest lately. And you can see why, right? The idea of building a money engine from stocks you already own, that's pretty darn appealing. But here's the thing, it's all about the trade-offs. For every single pro, there's a matching con you've got to be aware of. So on one hand, yeah, you enhance your income. That's the whole point. You also get a little bit of a hedge. If the stock drops, that premium you collected cushions the blow a tiny bit. And you get a predictable exit price. If it hits your strike, you know exactly what you're selling for. But, and this is a big but, you absolutely cap your upside. If that stock goes to the moon, you don't get to ride along. Your shares could get exercised, meaning you're forced to sell. And, of course, you can't forget about Uncle Sam. That premium is usually taxed as a short-term gain, and that can definitely take a bite out of your profits. That brings us to the money itself. How is that premium, that payout you get, actually calculated? Let's take a look at the logic behind the price. It really just boils down to two simple rules. First, the closer your strike price is to the stock's current price, the more money you're going to get. Makes sense, right? There's a higher chance it'll actually get exercised. And second, the more time you sell, the more money you'll get. Again, totally logical. More time means more opportunity for the stock to climb up and hit that strike price. So what's the key takeaway here? Higher income almost always means higher risk. Okay, so to really get a handle on that risk, you need to understand a concept that pros use all the time. It's called moneyness, and it basically tells you the exact status of your trade at any given moment. Don't let a fancy name fool you. Moneyness is just a simple comparison between the stock's current price and your option's strike price. Think of it like a vital sign for your covered call. It tells you if your trade is healthy, in danger, or, well, in trouble. And this table right here breaks it all down perfectly from our perspective as the person writing the call. If your strike price is above the stock price, your option is out of the money. This is the sweet spot. You're probably going to keep your shares and the premium. If they're pretty much equal, it's at the money. This is the danger zone where things could go either way. But if that stock price blows past your strike, your option is now in the money. And at this point, you should pretty much expect to say goodbye to your shares. Okay, so now that we get the pricing and the risks, let's actually build a defensive playbook. How can we approach this in a safer, more conservative way? All right, the absolute key to playing it safe is this. You choose a strike price that's comfortably out of the money, so well above where the stock is trading now, and you pick a short expiration, maybe just a few weeks out. This combo dramatically lowers the chance of your stock getting called away. Now, what's the catch? Well, the trade-off is you're going to collect a smaller premium. It's that classic risk versus reward decision. But that leads to a really critical question. The strategy itself is only half the picture. What kinds of stocks should you even be using this on in the first place? Look, the best stocks for this are quality companies that you actually want to own for the long haul. You have to remember, if the stock price goes down, you're still stuck holding it. So this is not a trick to squeeze a few bucks out of a weak stock you're trying to get rid of. It's a tool to make your good, solid positions even more productive. And you have to be genuinely okay with selling if it hits your price. That's the agreement you're making. But what if you do everything right and the market just goes wild? What do you do when one of your quality stocks suddenly skyrockets and your trade flips against you? This is the exact scenario that keeps covered call writers up at night. Your stock is deep in the money, you're looking at a forced sale, and suddenly you get cold feet. You don't want to sell. Is it too late? Do you have an escape hatch? The answer is yes, you do. It's a move called rolling up and out. It's a two-step process. First, you buy back your original option. And yeah, since the stock went up, you're going to take a loss on that part. But you immediately do step two. You sell a brand new covered call on that same stock, only this time you pick a higher strike price and an expiration date further in the future. Now here's where the magic happens. Because the stock is higher and you're selling more time, the premium you get for this new option is much bigger, often big enough to completely wipe out your loss from the first trade and then some. Let's make this real with an example. Our investor, let's call him Bob, was in this exact spot. So here's how the math worked for him. He first collected a $250 premium. Then, to get out of the trade, he had to spend $550 to buy the option back. That put him at a $300 loss. Temporarily. But then, he immediately sold a new, rolled-up option and collected a $600 premium. So you do the math. He erased that $300 loss and actually walked away with a $300 net profit. And the best part? He got to keep his stock. He took control of a bad situation and turned it into a winner. And that really brings us to the most important point of all. Covered calls are not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's like the old story of the tortoise and the hare. This is a slow and steady tool that works best when it's part of a disciplined, long-term plan for stocks you truly believe in. So, the final question you really have to ask yourself is this. Are you looking to build a disciplined money engine for the long haul? Or are you just chasing the thrill of a quick payouts? Because how you answer that is going to determine everything. Thanks for watching.